The paradox of power. Why is it that the cruelest rulers, the most manipulative leaders, and the most ruthless business tycoons seem to rise to the very top, while good, kind, and honest people remain invisible? This question has haunted humanity for centuries. We are raised to believe that hard work, honesty, and kindness are the building blocks of success. Parents tell their children, "Be good, and good things will come." Religions echo this. The meek shall inherit the earth. Fairy tales reassure us. The hero always triumphs. The villain always falls. But history tells a different story. The reality of power is not a fairy tale. It is a battlefield. Look at history's rulers. Genghis Khan, who slaughtered millions, but built the largest empire on earth. Look at corrupt politicians who manipulate and lie, yet rise to the highest offices. Look at corporate leaders who exploit workers yet climb to unimaginable wealth. These examples disturb us because they reveal a paradox. Morality and success do not always align. In fact, they often seem opposed. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this clearly. To him, the idea that good people succeed was a comforting lie told by the weak. He believed that power itself is neutral. It does not care about goodness or evil. Power belongs to those who dare to seize it. The paradox of power, then, is this. Society praises virtue, but rewards boldness, cunning, and dominance. This is why the worst so often succeed. They are willing to do what the virtuous refuse to do. The paradox forces us into discomfort. Do we cling to the comforting illusion that good always wins? Or do we face Nietzsche's brutal truth that strength, not morality, rules the world? Nietzsche's will to power. What if success isn't about being good, talented, or even intelligent, but about a deeper force driving all of life itself? Nietzsche believed that beneath all human actions, beneath politics, love, art, and war, there is one fundamental drive, the will to power. This is not just ambition. It is the raw instinct to expand, to dominate, to assert oneself against the chaos of life. Every living creature, Nietzsche argued, seeks to grow, to overcome obstacles, to impose its form upon the world. The tree stretches toward the sun. The lion hunts to prove its dominance. Even the artist, when painting, is not simply expressing beauty, but exerting control, shaping the world according to their vision. Power is life's essence. Without it, there is decay. This is why Nietzsche rejected philosophies that praised humility, meekness, or self-denial. He believed such values weakened the individual. To him, the religions of pity and humility were ways of taming humanity's natural strength. And here lies the uncomfortable truth. Those who succeed in the world often align themselves, consciously or unconsciously, with this will to power. They dare to assert themselves. They take risks. They expand their influence. The worst people succeed not because they are immoral, but because they embody life's raw principle more fully than those who cling to meekness. They understand that power is not given, it is taken. This explains why intelligence alone is not enough, why goodness alone is not enough, why talent alone is not enough. Success belongs to those who embrace power, even ruthlessly, while others hide behind ideals. Nietzsche forces us to ask, do we want truth, or do we want comfort? Because the truth is that the will to power shapes the destiny of individuals, nations, and civilizations. The mask of morality. What if morality isn't truth, but a mask designed to keep you obedient? We are taught to believe morality is eternal, absolute, and universal. But Nietzsche shattered this belief. He argued that morality itself is a human invention, a social weapon designed by the weak to restrain the strong. Think of it. Why do we call humility good and pride bad? Why do we call meekness virtuous and ambition sinful? Nietzsche believed these values were created not by the powerful, but by the powerless. The weak, unable to overpower the strong directly, invented morality to control them indirectly. This is what Nietzsche called slave morality. It praises obedience, self-sacrifice, and guilt. It condemns ambition, pride, and strength. By labeling strength as evil and weakness as good, the powerless created a system that made them feel morally superior. But Nietzsche saw through the disguise. He realized that morality is not truth, it is a mask. And the cunning, the so-called worst people, use this mask to their advantage. They understand that morality restrains the masses, but they themselves are not bound by it. They play along, pretending to be virtuous in public, while privately pursuing their ambition without restraint. Look at history again. Many tyrants rose to power by cloaking themselves in moral language. Dictators promised justice, fairness, and protection, while secretly exploiting power for themselves. Business moguls donate to charity for good publicity, while exploiting workers behind closed doors. The mask of morality is powerful because most people believe in it sincerely. But the ruthless see it as theater, a costume to wear while playing the game of power. This is why Nietzsche insisted, if you truly want to understand power, you must learn to see behind the mask. Why kindness fails in a ruthless world? Have you ever wondered why the kindest people are often ignored, overlooked, or crushed, while the ruthless rise like kings? Kindness is a beautiful quality. It makes relationships flourish, communities thrive, and individuals feel safe. But when it comes to the ruthless arena of power, kindness alone often fails. Why? Because kindness is frequently mistaken for weakness. In the jungle, the lamb is not devoured because it is bad. It is devoured because it is defenseless. Similarly, in society, the kind are often preyed upon by those willing to exploit their generosity. Nietzsche would say, "The world does not reward goodness, it rewards strength." And many good people make the mistake of assuming that the world will recognize their virtue, respect their honesty, and reward their integrity. But power is not distributed based on fairness. It is seized by those bold enough to claim it. Think of the workplace. The quiet, hard-working employee who never complains may be overlooked, while the ambitious, outspoken manipulator rises to management. In politics, the honest candidate may lose, while the charismatic liar wins. This does not mean kindness is useless, but it does mean kindness without strength is dangerous. It attracts exploitation. It creates victims. Nietzsche believed that true greatness was not found in meekness, but in strength. He warned that people who cling only to kindness, while neglecting strength, will always be dominated by those willing to do what they will not. This is why the worst so often succeed. They are unafraid to do what kindness avoids. The challenge, then, is not to abandon kindness, but to combine it with strength, so that kindness is a choice, not a weakness. The shadow of ruthlessness. Does ruthlessness guarantee success, or does it carry a curse hidden in its shadow? At first glance, it seems simple. The ruthless succeed because they are willing to cross lines others will not. They lie, manipulate, betray, and dominate without hesitation. And indeed, this strategy often works, at least in the short term. But Nietzsche warned us that ruthlessness carries a shadow. The same qualities that elevate a person can also destroy them. The ruthless may climb quickly, but they live in a world of enemies. Trust erodes, paranoia grows. The higher they rise, the more they fear being overthrown. History is filled with tyrants who gained everything, only to die betrayed by allies or consumed by their own madness. Ruthlessness achieves power, but it does not guarantee peace. It builds empires, but it also builds resentment that waits patiently for revenge. Nietzsche admired strength, but he did not glorify cruelty. He distinguished between two kinds of power: the base power of tyrants, who dominate through fear, and the higher power of creators, who shape culture, art, and values. The tyrant may win the throne, but the creator shapes history. This is the hidden cost of ruthlessness. It may secure success, but it rarely secures greatness. The ruthless win battles, but they often lose the war of legacy. So, yes, the worst often succeed, but their success comes with a shadow, a fragile kingdom built on fear. Nietzsche challenges us to ask, is that the kind of success we truly want? Or can we find a higher path, one that unites strength with vision, power with meaning? Masters and slaves, are you living like a master of your own fate, or as a slave to someone else's rules? Nietzsche's most unsettling insight was his distinction between master morality and slave morality. Master morality belongs to those who are bold, proud, and unapologetic. Masters create their own values. They say, "This is good because I will it. This is right because I have chosen it." They define the terms of reality. Slave morality, on the other hand, belongs to those who feel powerless. Instead of creating values, they inherit them. Instead of declaring, "This is good," they whisper, "This is forbidden. Therefore I must obey." Slave morality values humility, obedience, and fear of punishment. The worst people succeed, Nietzsche argued, because they think like masters in a world filled with slaves. They do not wait for permission. They do not bow to external authority. They declare what they want, and they move toward it. Think of entrepreneurs who break the rules, politicians who bend laws, artists who defy traditions. Whether we call them bad or ruthless, their master mentality allows them to create the conditions for their own success. Meanwhile, those trapped in slave morality follow rules blindly, hoping that obedience will be rewarded. But life rarely rewards obedience. It rewards courage, creativity, and boldness, the traits of the master. Nietzsche's challenge to us is clear. Are you living as a master or as a slave? The psychology of fear. What really holds good people back from rising? Is it morality or is it fear? Fear is the silent killer of ambition. Many kind, talented, and intelligent people fail to rise not because they lack ability, but because fear chains them. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of stepping outside the lines. The ruthless succeed because they do what the fearful avoid. They embrace risk. They are willing to fail. They break rules without hesitation. They gamble their reputation, and often that gamble pays off. Psychologically, fear paralyzes. The brain magnifies risks, exaggerates consequences, and convinces us that safety equals survival. But Nietzsche would argue that life is not about safety, it is about overcoming. The person who hides in safety never becomes strong. Fear keeps people small, while boldness elevates others. History again proves this. Explorers who risked oceans discovered new worlds. Leaders who defied tradition built empires. Artists who shocked society changed culture forever. Those who feared rejection remained silent and were forgotten. Nietzsche's philosophy was never about comfort. He believed life was struggle, and only by confronting fear can we grow. This is why the worst often succeed. They are willing to risk what the good are too afraid to lose. Society's secret admiration for the ruthless. If we claim to hate ruthless people, why are we so endlessly fascinated by them? We say we despise tyrants, villains, and manipulators. We condemn corruption, greed, and cruelty. And yet, our movies glorify mafia bosses, our novels celebrate anti-heroes, and our culture obsesses over power-hungry icons. Why? Nietzsche would argue that deep down, we secretly admire the ruthless. They embody what we repress in ourselves: boldness, confidence, freedom from fear, unapologetic self-expression. The masses outwardly resent power but inwardly crave it. We live vicariously through characters who dare to do what we cannot. When we watch a cunning mastermind rise to power, part of us is disgusted, but another part whispers, "I wish I had that kind of freedom." This is the paradox of society. We preach morality while secretly admiring power. We envy the ruthless for their boldness, even as we condemn them for their cruelty. Nietzsche forces us to confront this uncomfortable truth. Our condemnation of the powerful is often rooted in envy, not righteousness. We resent them because they embody a strength we suppress in ourselves. This is why the worst seem to succeed. Not only do they seize power, but society unconsciously enables them, because we cannot look away. The danger of envy. Do we hate the powerful because they are evil, or because they achieved what we could not. Envy is perhaps the most destructive human emotion. It poisons communities, divides societies, and fuels resentment against the successful. Nietzsche believed that resentment was the very foundation of morality itself. The powerless, unable to overthrow the strong, created a system of values that condemned strength and glorified weakness. Envy disguised itself as justice. This is why we often call the rich greedy, the ambitious arrogant, and the powerful corrupt. Sometimes this is true, but sometimes it is envy in disguise. Envy convinces us that those who rise must have cheated, lied, or stolen. It convinces us that success is undeserved, that greatness is immoral. And so envy comforts us in our mediocrity. But Nietzsche warned that envy is a trap. Instead of fueling growth, it paralyzes. Instead of asking, "How can I rise?" the envious ask, "How can I pull others down?" The ruthless succeed partly because they ignore envy. They do not waste energy resenting others. They channel it into action. The weak drown in comparison, while the strong build their own path. The lesson is clear. Envy destroys the powerless, while ambition fuels the powerful. Success as survival of the bold. Is success really about talent, or is it simply about boldness? Look around at modern politics, business, and culture. The ones who rise are not always the most intelligent, the most moral, or even the most talented. More often, they are the boldest. Boldness matters because the world rarely hands out opportunities freely. Opportunities are seized. Risks must be taken. The bold are willing to push boundaries, while the cautious wait for permission that never comes. Nietzsche would argue that success is not survival of the fittest, but survival of the boldest. Those who dare to act, who embrace risk, who seize the stage of history, leave their mark. Consider innovators like Steve Jobs, often ruthless, often arrogant, but undeniably bold. Consider political leaders who lacked virtue but possessed audacity. Consider artists who shocked society with outrageous creations, but changed culture forever. Boldness makes the difference. Nietzsche was not glorifying cruelty. He was exposing truth. The worst succeed not because they are evil, but because they dare. They embody life's raw principle, to expand, to overcome, to rise. And the world, whether it admits it or not, rewards boldness before it rewards virtue.